everybody. Welcome to the Royal Priesthood Roundtable podcast. First thing we want to let everybody know, Jesus loves you and we love you. You might be sitting there tonight watching this and maybe you are addicted to drugs or alcohol. We want you to know that there's a cure for that, and that cure is Jesus Christ. I got a couple here that are now a big part of this ministry, a big part of this church, that do ministry work all the time for the Lord. But it didn't used to always be that way. So I want to introduce you to my brother, Scott Eller. I call him Scoot sometimes. I call him Bear sometimes. I accidentally put him in my phone spelled wrong one time. And so when I call him, sometimes I call him Scoot. But this is Bear. This is his wife, Bobbie. They're both a big part of this church and this ministry. I want to get started here in just a minute. We're going to kind of go back to before they were church members of Royal Priesthood, and before they served the Lord. You guys were both addicted to drugs, right?
Very much so.
So, Bear, you started out, at what age did you start using drugs?
I started using about 19, 20 years old. I first started out with just marijuana, and then pain pills, and it kept on going. When the pain pills stopped working, it just started getting bigger and bigger and higher, more expensive drugs.
Right, looking for more and more.
Yep.
It led to the other stuff.
Yep.
How about you, Bobbie?
I was about 18 when
About
I started.
18.
Started out with marijuana and alcohol. Eventually moved to pain pills. And then with me, like, I would quit for a year or so, but when I went back to it, it would be like more like, it wouldn't be the pain pills no more. It would be like, meth.
Something more extreme.
coke or
And
something.
that's kind of how it works a lot for us addicts. Is we start out, at one point, and then lead to a deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's how the enemy works. The enemy takes us and he wants to just pull us further and further out there. So, Bear, let's talk a minute about. So you started at around 18, 19 years old.
Yes,
That was marijuana,
Yes,
just
sir.
partying,
Partying with our friends out on the weekends. My dad's old friends. Always been around the drug life. Grew up in it as a kid. One of my earliest memories is seeing my father and my uncles separate drugs on the table. And I was probably no more than 6 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
So
you're pretty much growed up in it,
yeah.
involved in it, and around it. How about you, Bobbie? No.
Didn't grow up around it, didn't grow up in it. Grew up in church.
In church.
Yep.
Okay. So you were introduced to the Lord at a earlier age.
Yes.
I guess drifted back into the world. That's kind of how it is for me too. We're introduced to the Lord as a child. I got saved. Do you feel like you got saved back then, Bobbie? That you really believed in Jesus? Or?
Maybe as a young teenager, yes.
Okay. So then you started experimenting. How did you guys meet?
Through a friend.
Right.
So I had a friend that I went to go see her one day, and she was like, "Well, I gotta go pick my husband up from work, and you wanna ride with me?" So I rode, and she didn't tell me at the time, but Scott was staying with them, and she started telling me about him. Oh, he loves God. He goes to church. And
Oh, okay. That wasn't true?
no, it wasn't.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
So actually,
Let's talk about that just a minute, Bear.
that was in between. I was married another time before Bobbie.
Right.
And when my ex-wife did what she did and took off and everything, I started going to church.
Okay.
I'd been to church when I was a kid,
Right.
but I think I did it more to get away from my family than I did for God.
Right.
And so
Church for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
and those girls there, it was really cute.
Yeah.
So I was going for girls, and
Right.
my being with my friends and staying away from home.
Right.
But at that time, I was trying to do right to a certain extent, but I was still trying to live in the world too.
Right.
And I never really. I'd say up until just 3 years ago, I had never actually felt the love that
Right.
everyone's talked about. That everything love.
The true love of Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Yes, sir.
I just always felt like yeah,
Right.
I really like this place,
Right.
and so I was going to church, but I was also smoking pot. I was a Sunday Christian, but a weekday rebel.
I got you. That happens sometimes. So, you guys started dating. Did you get married long after you met and started dating, or
We moved in together
Moved
like
in
the
together?
first week,
right? I got you.
and then
So let's move forward a little bit to, and I know y'all got beautiful children now, beautiful family. So let's move forward just a little bit to, you guys were doing drugs and stuff. But after you got married, when the drugs really start getting to be a serious problem?
that would be me. Bobby, like Bobby said, there for a long time, Bobby would dibble and dabble.
Right.
But me, I was the all in. At first I was making money.
Right.
It was a money source.
So
to
you
me.
were dealing pretty much.
I was dealing,
I got you.
dealing pot, dealing pills.
Right.
And yeah, I would like if I'd get a script of 120 parks or something like that, I'd sell 60 and keep 60,
Right.
or sell more than I'd take. But then we got around some people, and probably Lenore is when it all changed. We was living up in a little place up in Lenore and got around the wrong crew, and I started doing more pills, and next thing I know, what I used to keep out to sell, I was doing.
Right. You needed more and more.
Yes.
So you're dealing to try to support the habit, but you had to keep using more and more to the addiction was increasing.
Yeah.
So Bobbie, sounds like Bear just said that he was kind of the one that was using a lot, and I guess you kind of just got pulled right into the.
Well, actually, during one of the times that I wasn't doing anything, we'd actually separated and divorced because I couldn't handle he wasn't only just doing pain pills, he was doing, heroin, meth,
Right.
everything out there he could get a hold of, and he wasn't the same person. So he went to Texas. Me and the kids stayed out here. We actually divorced over it.
Okay.
He was gone a year and a half, and when he came back, I'd actually started doing pain pills again with one of my friends.
Okay.
I was clean, she was dirty, and then
Yeah, so
we
it
both
kind of
started using
switched.
together.
Oh, okay.
And so
I got you.
then the way that the meth got brought up is one day we were trying to find pain pills, and nobody had nothing. So I was like, well then, give me what you can get me, and that's
Right.
what they could get me, and it was downhill from there.
From there on. From there.
I have to say what really was our turning point when it come to the drugs, where it went from bad to worse,
Right.
is the way we started doing them.
Yeah.
Right.
And what I mean by that is,
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on just a minute, cause I want you got that, cause y'all know I'm around, because of working with the addicted and stuff.
Mhm.
We're all around, the addiction. So what would you tell somebody that's thinking about using meth?
run.
Run.
It's not worth it.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It will take everything away from you at a drop of a hat, and it has no emotions.
Totally destroy you.
Yes.
I mean, totally destroy you. So, then you start using the meth. What you was about to say? What method were you using? at that time?
Well, we had some, before the meth, we was doing some stuff called it was Opanas with oxymorphones, and they had to be used in needle form.
Okay.
And so we had gotten used to doing that in needles, but then we tried the meth in needle, and it just took us both, you know, from where it would take you normally 10, 15, probably about 5, 10 minutes to fill it. You
Right.
felt it instantaneously.
Right. Yes,
And it was,
got you.
there goes, oh, you had a crappy day at work. Oh, it's gone now.
Right. Right.
You know, or someone's, my family was talking bad about me again. Oh, I don't care about nothing like that no more.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's an instant
So-
getaway.
So that's when you seen it really got worse, when you started shooting, right? I hear that from a lot of people, that's a sign when you're using. It's never good because it's going to lead to destruction, but when it reaches that point and you're wanting that quick, instant get high, that's when we should be alert to say, hey, there's a problem. Is that when y'all really realize, hey, this is a problem? And
I think one day I realized that I had a problem whenever me and Scott were actually smoking it with somebody, and they were like happy, and I'm like, and I'm mad
feel it.
because I couldn't tell I did anything until I went in and shot somebody.
it had to be the extreme shooting
Yep.
at that point.
Yeah.
So, okay, how about, so you're going through this point in your life, and the kids, like I say, beautiful kids, beautiful family. So, can you tell me a little bit? I know you guys have told me before that you were homeless, living in a car. Were the kids actually living with you at that point?
Yes, our kids always been in our control or lived with us, you know. But the time that you're referring to, we had a little Ford Escort, 2004 Ford Escort. If anybody knows anything about it, if you're a big person,
It's a little car.
it's
It's very little.
It's,
Yes.
it's really
Yes.
small.
Very, very little car.
The kids would have to stay sometimes. You know, when we was homeless, her mom would watch the kids,
They could stay a night or two with her every once in a while.
and then there was times that Bobbie could stay with them, but I couldn't.
Right. Because of whatever house it was in that situation. But
Well,
And I remember one night we had asked to go to a family member's house, and they're like, no. And I just remember like riding down the road just screaming because like we had gave these people a place at our house that we had for years,
yeah.
and never expected them to pay anything. Like, I took care of everything, and now we were in a position where we needed help, and
no.
nobody.
Yes.
Nobody.
You know, even though we was doing drugs all that time, we was always the house around us that
Right.
everybody knew.
But then
You come get something to eat. If you need a place to lay your head, you come lay your head. You know, we always looked out for people. But when it was the other way, she was on the
Then-
other foot, they didn't want no.
then here y'all are, y'all needing help. Those same people are
They're
not
just
there
gone.
for you. I say it all the time, and I really believe this. Man will always let you down.
Yeah.
Man will. But God never will. Jesus will never let us down. He might let us sometimes go through stuff, but He won't let us down. So you guys done reached a point you're staying in a car. But let's talk about how you were, Bobbie, you was making a living, working. We won't discuss where or anything, but were you actually using during that time, and you was holding a job down? And I know sometimes I see people that's doing meth. They'll work extra hours, and they'll just keep going. Did you go through that?
I did.
Yeah. And so,
Working to be able to pay for hotel rooms and to get high again.
right, just working for that next high. So during that time, Bear, what was it like that for you, being a dad, a husband, trying to make it day to day, do the drugs, and just taking
Well,
it
I was taking it like when she'd be at work, I'd be taking care of the kids. You know, I'd take care of the house and
Right.
stuff like that. But there was times I was working in there too.
Right.
And, you know, except for my money went, normally I wasn't getting paid money.
Right.
I was getting paid with
Yep.
drugs and other ways, you know, but anyway to help us out to a certain extent.
Right.
Someone want to ride, I'd be like, okay, I'll take you.
I got
Just
you.
Hook us up, you know, that type of
Wheeling and dealing,
Yes.
pretty much. I got you. So,
And cause always trying to be like selling, but
Right.
you know, a monkey can't sell bananas.
right.
And we're doing, that's how it would always work out.
Right. That's a good way to put it. You can't sell when you're eating up the profit.
Yeah.
So, Bobbie, I think it was you that first. I don't know how it started, but I know that you had called Tracy sometimes. You and Tracy had known each other, worked at the same place for a while, and I think you had reached out to tell us a little bit about you reaching out to Tracy on the phone one day.
So I know that happened after we started getting clean.
Right. What made you start getting clean then? How did that go?
Well, I remember having the money for a room for one more night, or we can get high one more night. And then I was like, man, if we go get high, we're going to have to pack everything in this room, our kids and everything. We're going to be disappointed. And I was like, you know what? Our kids deserve better.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And whether anybody else wanted to admit it or not, we deserved better than
Right.
what we were treating ourselves.
Yes.
So that's really what started it. And then it was just like, all right, we ain't done nothing in one day. We ain't done nothing in 2 days.
Let's push it a little bit further. Let's see how long we can go.
Awesome.
So now
Yeah.
we're almost 3
Well,
years.
3 years. And so after you started getting clean, I know you had talked to Tracy on the phone, and you started coming to Royal Priesthood Bible
Yeah.
Church.
Yeah, so I called Tracy because even though we were clean, there was still something missing.
Right.
During the time that we were actively using, I quit going to church, had quit having anything to do with God. I'm not going to go into what was said, but
Right.
just very angry at God. And so I talked to Tracy, and you know, the whole time that me and Tracy worked, when she would come to where I worked at, she never treated me no different. Like, she wasn't like, oh, you know, you're high. Like, you know, she never made a big deal about it. She never treated me no different. And I knew that at the time I really didn't know that she was married to you and you were a preacher.
Right.
But I knew that she was someone I could call and ask, you know, advice, you know, when it come to God or church. And so I did. And I remember calling her, I was crying, and she actually led me to God over the phone.
Amen.
And then I know it was like a week or two later, she drove all the way from Shelby to Hickory to pick me up for a church service. And I come down here, and I was like, oh yeah. So then me and Lauren started coming,
Yeah.
and Lauren said, Mama, Daddy's going to love this church. And so we talked him into coming out, and I had to tell him, beware, they like to hug.
Yes.
And
I wasn't a hugger at first.
Right. That's kind of changing now. Ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, we've tried several, you know, churches together, but either I didn't like them or he really didn't like them or what.
Right.
But this is like the first one we've been together where we've actually, you know, done actual ministry work together.
Yes. And
And what's funny about that, when she first started coming down here, and you know, getting clean is a big step for us. It was a
Right.
big step for us. And it also makes you insecure because you're still having to deal with all the mental stuff
right.
with
Yeah.
drugs. I was so convinced she was coming down here to meet a man.
Oh.
Oh, she was meeting a man, she was meeting God.
Amen. That's
But
right. That's
in my
right.
head, it's still drug fueled to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I was so sure she was coming down here.
She'd done found Jesus,
Yeah.
hadn't she? And,
You know, and
that's
she led me
pretty
to the same man. So
so, then you realize you got here.
Same man.
Oh, that's the man. That's
Yeah.
She's met Jesus. That's a pretty good story there. So you guys started coming to church, and you became, as time went on, you became a part of the motorcycle ministry, right?
Yep.
I think you've even been a sergeant at arms in the motorcycle
Yeah, I am.
industry. And Bobbie, you and Bear both are so active. There's one thing, you look for those dependable people that when you're doing God's work, you look around and there they are. There they are. And that's this couple. I'm going to brag on them for a minute because I've seen myself such a change in them. Even from the time I first met both of you, I've seen y'all grow and grow and grow, and that's what it's about, We say around here at the Royal Priesthood, it ain't our job to clean nobody up.
Yep.
We're going to introduce you to that man,
Yep.
Jesus. We're going to Jesus, and he's going to clean you up.
Yep.
So that's kind of that's an awesome story that you guys went from living in a car, addicted, homeless, to now. I'm going to continue to brag on you guys a little bit. Now they help run the Chosen Generation House of Hope, Addiction Recovery House. They've always been a big help over there, and now they're helping with the Chosen Generation House of Hope Winter Shelter. Actually, Tracy and I took a vacation last week, and Bobbie was one of the ones, her and Kayla, that was here the whole week, every day. They were here, and they kept things going around here, and it feels good to have people in the ministry that you can take a break and it's going to be took care of because they love it as much as you do. So I want to brag on God because I've seen this life change, and we want to make sure. Barry, I want you to take just a second. I want you to, if you got somebody, there's somebody out there right now that's maybe getting ready to shoot that needle. Can you say anything to them? I want you to let them know what Jesus has did for you and how he can help them with that.
First off, you're not broken. You're not alone. There is people out here who care.
That's right.
We ain't gonna judge you. Just stop. Because the only thing you're doing is killing yourself a little bit at a time. You might feel better for a minute. It might kill them emotions, or it might take away the pain, but it'll come back. And it comes back tenfold.
One thing we realized, and we're learning more and more, that when we're addicted, we're searching for something to fill us. That's what we're searching, is that feeling. It is the ultimate feeling, the feeling of the being complete. And the answer to that is Jesus Christ. We all spend too many years till it makes us realize that, hey, that feeling and that emptiness in our heart can be filled with Jesus Christ. How about you, Bobbie? If there's a young lady out there that you might can tell her that, like Bear said, stop. Anything you would like to say to somebody that needs to just give it to Jesus tonight?
I would tell them to, run to Jesus. He's got, the love that'll go down into the pits of hell and drag you back out.
Like Bobbie said, run to him.
Yes.
Run to him. Don't hesitate. Don't let the enemy talk you out of it. Run to him. Tell the enemy he's a liar to get away from you, and just run to Jesus. Sunday here we had a message where Peter was sinking in the water, and we said the Word of God is telling us just reach for Jesus. He'll save you. That's what we want to tell you tonight. Just reach for Jesus. He will save you. If we can help in any way, reach out to us, comment, call. We'll, we have a Chosen Generation House of Hope. We'll help you in any way we can. we invite you to our church. We have service every Sunday at 2 p.m. 634 South Lafayette Street, Shelby, North Carolina. Royal Priesthood Biker Church for all people. And I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. Thank you guys for helping somebody else tonight hear your story. And we want you to know Jesus loves you and we love you.